People who achieve success often do what those who fail avoid or do not enjoy doing. We all live according to our habits, and some of these habits have a profound impact on our lives. However, there are also those that directly influence our finances, even if we are not always aware of them. In most cases, people do not realize the negative financial habits that, unknowingly, constantly keep them away from any opportunity to achieve success. I am convinced that it is possible to get rid of those bad financial habits and replace them with positive ones that promote better money management. This is, without a doubt, the only way to increase the amount of money in your life. So, if you're interested in learning more about how to do this, I invite you to keep watching this video. Here, on your main channel about finance and wealth mindset, I will offer practical tools and valuable advice. Click the subscription button now and join the group of future millionaires. Despite having achieved notable financial success, I live quite modestly. I still reside in the same house I bought for $25,000 in 1957. I prefer to use common means of transportation instead of a private jet, and in my free time I enjoy playing bridge instead of billiards. This unusual combination of great fortune and a simple lifestyle has generated worldwide interest in the way I live. I chose to forge my own path without anyone bothering me at 5 or 6 in the morning, which allowed me to develop a solid routine. Additionally, I have always enjoyed reading. I remember that my aunt gave me the World Almanac, which I still keep, and I read my first book on investments in my father's office. To this day, I dedicate 5 to 6 hours a day to reading, delving into the decline of businesses in the second half of the 20th century. Aside from this, I tirelessly monitor market trends, and I am delighted to share valuable advice to help others find their own path to wealth. When it comes to making money, it is crucial to understand that timing is everything. You don't need to be extraordinarily smart, but rather have patience and know how to wait for the right opportunities. I want to draw your attention to the financial habits that I consistently and actively use. A healthy habit, well implemented, can easily become the solid foundation of your wealth, even if your wallet is empty at the moment. One of the most important habits I practice is spending wisely. At first glance, this may seem simple or even trivial, but according to statistics, more than 65% of people do not know how to properly manage their money. I have mentioned on several occasions that many people tend to think about how to spend money they haven't earned yet. This is a big mistake. Instead of simply spending recklessly, I recommend evaluating your future purchases not only in terms of money but also in relation to the time it takes you to earn that money. Ask yourself, how many hours a month do you work and how much money do you make? Once you have that answer, calculate how much each hour of your work is worth and compare it with the cost of what you want to buy. For example, if you earn 10,000 reais per month and are considering buying a Tesla that costs at least 300,000 reais, think carefully if it's really worth it before you start saving for that purchase. It's crucial to keep in mind that I'm not discouraging you from spending, but I encourage you to plan every earning and expense carefully, regardless of how much you earn or plan to spend. The problem with having $1 million, for example, is that it seems like a lot of money, but if you don't manage it properly, it will simply disappear and you won't even know where it went. This is where the second habit comes into play, letting your money work for you. Instead of simply stashing away a little extra money in a drawer or piggy bank, you must learn how the investment mechanism works. If you just accumulate your savings without doing anything else, the value of that money will decrease due to inflation, which reduces purchasing power over time. To avoid this, at the very least, you should transfer that money to a savings account that offers an interest rate higher than the inflation rate. However, that is not enough if your goal is to grow your money. To achieve this, you need to learn how to invest. Investing involves exploring different options, from stocks to real estate, and evaluating which best suits your financial goals. The key is not to be afraid of making mistakes, but to start understanding how the investment world works. It's important to emphasize that saving doesn't necessarily mean investing all your money in the stock market. The most important thing is to start today, little by little, to understand the investment mechanism. Additionally, it is crucial to stay informed. I say this with conviction. Regularly dedicate time to reading and closely following the news on the subject, and stay updated with the latest economic trends. Only then will you be able to make smart financial decisions and prevent your money from depreciating without you realizing it. Instead of wasting time scrolling through Facebook or Instagram in the mornings, I suggest you set aside 10 to 20 minutes for useful reading that can truly add value to your day. Use that time to analyze what's happening in the stock world. Reviewing daily market fluctuations can make a huge difference in your financial knowledge. Did you know that shares of U.S. tech giants like Facebook and Google have had an average return of 30% per year? It's not surprising that, besides consuming our time, social media can also be an invaluable source of information. Before continuing with this valuable advice, I'd like to ask you to support this video by giving it a like. Your participation not only helps more people discover these valuable financial tools, but also allows me to keep sharing this content. The third habit I want to share is working in unusual conditions. I know this advice might sound a bit strange coming from me, especially since I'm known for evaluating global markets from the comfort of my desk. However, sometimes changing environments is just what you need to see things from a different perspective. I myself have analyzed global market trends while sitting in a McDonald's, instead of doing so from a formal office. I have always associated money with big problems that require creative solutions, and for that, it's crucial to be able to see things from unique angles. A perfect example of this is the story of Albert Einstein. In 1905, Einstein published 4 scientific papers that revolutionized the foundations of modern physics and changed our understanding of space, time, and matter. The curious thing is that he didn't write them in a physics lab or in his personal office but at his workplace in the Swiss Patent Office. By working in an unconventional environment, he managed to free himself from the constraints a laboratory might have imposed, allowing him to think more freely and creatively. If you read what everyone else reads, you will think like everyone else, and if you think like everyone else, it will be difficult for you to contribute something truly new and original. The key is to be curious, explore little-known sources, and study what most haven't considered. This kind of uncommon knowledge can be extremely valuable to others. I'm known for my simple but profound financial wisdom, and one of the lessons I always share is that many people spend their money on completely absurd and unnecessary things. By doing so, they block their own path to success. To correct these common financial mistakes, you may need to make drastic changes to your approach. I am convinced that these changes can make all the difference and lead you toward wealth. First of all, it is important to highlight that people with fewer resources often tend to neglect their personal development. However, this is a crucial aspect for changing financial trajectory. Working on yourself and your personal growth is the first step toward prosperity. It's not just about earning more money, but about acquiring the necessary knowledge to manage it effectively. I firmly believe that the best investment you can make today is investing in yourself. Improving your skills and obtaining a quality education can significantly increase your income over time. While many people seek those with specialized knowledge, they often don't dedicate the necessary time to educate themselves. They prefer to find someone who already knows what to do, and they are willing to pay well for those services. If you want to be independent, competition in business and understanding processes will never be too much. When you decide to start or create your own business, your knowledge and skills become the most valuable assets you possess, as no one can take them from you. That's why it's essential to try to acquire as much knowledge as possible in different areas, always striving to improve. It's not just about growing financially, but also about becoming a more complete person, capable of facing any challenge that comes your way on the path to success. Another important aspect to consider is the use of credit cards. This is one of the most common mistakes made by people with financial difficulties. Without a doubt, credit cards may seem convenient and useful, especially when you want to buy something but don't have enough funds available. However, high interest rates often outweigh any benefits you might gain. If you ever forget to pay your debts on time, the financial consequences can be devastating. I suggest you take the time to calculate how much you spend annually just on paying off credit card debt. Do a careful analysis, and you'll realize that cutting this type of expense can be the first step towards healthier financial management. By stopping spending more than you earn, not only will you avoid debt, but you will also free up a considerable amount of money that you could allocate to something more productive, like your education or new investments. Going to bars and restaurants is another costly habit that can hinder your path to financial freedom. If you've truly decided to build a life of wealth, it's necessary to give up these types of luxuries, at least during the phase when you're working to achieve economic stability. I understand that we're all human, and socializing is an essential part of our emotional well-being. However, your financial situation will benefit greatly if you decide to postpone certain temporary luxuries to focus on your economic growth. Another expense that many people underestimate is unused gym memberships. Did you know that, statistically, 80% of people who buy an annual membership end up quitting the gym after a while? Nowadays, it's very common for large gym chains to offer semi-annual or annual memberships at prices that seem irresistible. But what many don't realize is that if you're not using that membership, you're actually not saving money, but losing it. While I always encourage leading an active and healthy lifestyle, I advise you to be cautious with these types of expenses. If you're one of those people who bought a membership and then stopped going to the gym, I recommend you try exercising at home or outdoors for free first. Alternatively, you could opt for a monthly membership that forces you to attend the gym regularly, without the long-term financial commitment. In that same month, subscription services also became a common financial mistake among people with fewer resources. It is crucial that you regularly check and control what you're subscribed to. Many times, these services offer a free trial period but require you to enter your credit card details upfront. The problem arises when, at the end of the trial period, they start charging you automatically and unexpectedly. Worse, if you forget to cancel the subscription, the process repeats itself, generating additional unexpected charges. To avoid this, I recommend that you always deactivate automatic renewals immediately as soon as you subscribe. Additionally, set reminders in your calendar to cancel the renewal before the offer ends. This way, you'll avoid unpleasant surprises. Keeping track of your subscriptions is key to maintaining your finances in order and avoiding unnecessary expenses that can affect your budget in the long term. Now, the financial mistakes I'll mention next are the downfall of many people. I advise you to pay close attention to them. But before continuing, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like if you are truly committed to achieving financial success. This simple like will be your first step towards wealth. The most common mistake I want to highlight is gambling. Although it may seem like a quick solution to make money, I want to emphasize the importance of understanding the real odds of success in games of chance. I encourage people to make financial decisions based on long-term benefit instead of looking for risky shortcuts that could lead to losses. Many people have gotten burned doing exactly this. It's important to learn when to stop, even when luck seems to be on your side. Knowing when to stop is key to not falling into a dangerous cycle of betting and losing. Additionally, I want to mention another harmful habit: smoking. If you do a simple calculation, you'll realize that over time, you could spend thousands of reais or dollars on cigarettes. This type of expense is a significant obstacle on your path to wealth. I am known as one of the most successful investors of all time, which means I have deep knowledge of how to multiply my capital. However, I don't just offer practical financial advice, but I also emphasize the importance of developing essential human qualities if you truly want to achieve wealth. In a talk I gave to students, I mentioned a fundamental principle. From every paycheck you earn, save a significant portion. Additionally, use tools that help you visualize your monthly expenses, showing you which product categories you're spending the most on. Never forget my 2 golden rules. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. It may seem like simple advice, but its impact is enormous if you apply it consistently. At the end of the day, almost no one thinks losing money is a good idea. However, this is incredibly wise and practical advice. Avoiding unnecessary risks as much as possible is key to succeeding and living a calm, happy life. Never risk what you need for something you simply want. This is a principle I follow personally, and thanks to it, I've never made risky investments. The difference between people who are successful and those who truly achieve lasting success lies in their ability to say no to almost everything. Another piece of advice I've always followed is to maintain my company with a substantial cash reserve. In fact, my company always has around $20 billion in cash ready to be used at any time. For some, this might seem like an irrational strategy, especially when it goes against the common financial principle of investing money and not leaving it under the mattress. However, it was precisely this strategy that saved my company during the 2008 financial crisis. Having cash available for a company is like having oxygen for the human body. You never think about it when you have it in abundance, but you obsess over its absence when you're running low. This rule is especially crucial for those with irregular incomes. Unnecessary debts, credit cards, installment loans, mortgages. All of these can lead you to a point where your monthly payments exceed your income, and when that happens, the money simply disappears before you even realize it. I've witnessed many people fail due to their poor financial habits. Although alcohol has been the cause of many downfalls, I've also seen how an excessive desire to spend leads to bankruptcy. If you're smart, you can make money without having to resort to credit. A fundamental aspect is paying close attention to small expenses. I've always been very mindful of these small expenditures, and I only trust people who are frugal with their money. An interesting example that made me reflect on the importance of managing small expenses happened in China. One day, my friend Bill Gates and I went to a local McDonald's for coffee. I insisted on paying the bill, and to everyone's surprise, I pulled out some discount coupons I had brought from the United States to pay for part of the meal and save some money. This small savings gesture may seem trivial, but it's a good example of how small actions can have a big impact in the long run. It is crucial to think in decades, not months. Most people make the mistake of trying to make the most of the present moment, seeking immediate benefits. But true success in investing requires time, discipline, and patience. No matter how talented you are or how hard you work, the path to financial success is paved with long-term decisions. Quick profits are an illusion. It's steady and sustained growth that truly leads to wealth. Some things in life take time and patience. You can't have a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant, just like you can't speed up or rush certain results. It's important to think long-term in terms of decades, gradually accumulating the necessary resources, whether for your children's education, your retirement, or any other significant financial goal. Everything of true value in life demands time and constant effort. Moreover, it's essential to educate yourself financially. Read everything you can about finance and economics, even if you don't have a background in these subjects. Every night, try to go to bed a little smarter than when you woke up that same morning. A large part of my work as an investor focuses on minimizing risks and reducing costs. What's the biggest risk for an average person who isn't in the financial world? It's when you don't know what you're doing. The more you learn about money, investments, and how the financial system works, the more your financial literacy will grow. This will allow you to manage your money better and make the most of it, regardless of how much you have. It's also important to understand that money isn't everything. Sure, some material things can add happiness to your life, but if you accumulate too much, it can end up being a burden. I wouldn't give up my private jet, as it's something I find useful, but having half a dozen houses would be more of a problem than a benefit. In my opinion, it often happens that an excess of material possessions begins to own the owner, rather than the owner owning the things. For this reason, we must never forget other values that are equally or even more important than money. Health, for example, is fundamental. Without health, financial success is meaningless. The same applies to friends. I have always considered my friends to be the most valuable thing after health. Money can't buy genuine relationships, nor can it replace physical and emotional well-being. Moreover, it is crucial to be bold and daring in life. In 1951, when I was under 20 years old, I took a train to Washington, D.C. and went straight to the offices of Geico, where Benjamin Graham, my future mentor, worked. I didn't have an appointment or any prior contact, but I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, Graham welcomed me. He offered me a 4-hour talk about the insurance industry, and that experience marked the beginning of a crucial relationship for my career. Graham became a consultant for Geico, and I maintained a close connection with the company for years. Over time, my company, Berkshire Hathaway, acquired Geico, and today Berkshire's insurance interests are one of the crown jewels of our business. But none of this would have been possible if I hadn't had the courage to show up at Geico's offices that day, more than 70 years ago. That bold decision changed the course of my life and my business forever. However, audacity has its rewards, and often making difficult decisions is part of the path to success. In the beginning, Berkshire Hathaway's main business was the textile sector. I supported those factories for many years, believing in their potential. However, in 1985, I made the difficult decision to sell them because they were no longer profitable. This was one of the most challenging decisions of my career, but also one of the most important to ensure the company's future success. These kinds of decisions don't just apply to business. For example, it may be more profitable to give up an expensive vacation and instead invest that money into a retirement fund. Although it may seem like a sacrifice in the short term, the long-term benefits will be immeasurable. The path to financial success for any wealthy person is filled with well-calculated and strategic decisions, and this is a lesson we can all apply to our own lives. Before going to bed, many successful people take time to plan their next steps. Interestingly, almost all poor people do not. What I mean is that it's essential to take a few minutes each night to reflect and plan for the next day. Write a list of the most important tasks you need to accomplish the next morning to move toward your goals. Analyze what you've done throughout the day, draw conclusions, and adjust your course if necessary. Having a clear plan in your mind and on paper will give you an advantage that few have, and if you stick to those tasks, success will be inevitable. This is your main channel for financial advice and wealth-building mindset, so don't hesitate to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss any crucial tips. On this journey toward financial prosperity, every step counts, and with the right mindset, wealth is just a matter of time.